Welcome back to the Marching Arts Network. I am the Stressmaster. Thank you all for joining me. As always, we truly appreciate it, and I wanted to acknowledge a milestone the channel has hit. We finally hit 2,300 subscribers. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but to us it means a lot. So it means that more people are watching, more people are participating in the community. So please make sure you go and visit our community page, where we have lots of different ways you can interact. You can look through all the different videos we have. You can become a member of the channel for $1.99 a month, and we give you exclusives in different areas, so you can take a look at the different membership options there. We also have a merchandise store. I just actually recently updated the store with some additional designs, so please check that out. Please support the channel, and the best way you can support is by subscribing. So if you have not subscribed, please consider doing so right now. That way you get notified when we have videos like the one you're watching now, and you know right away when they hit the channel. So what we're doing is a short 3-part series on top 3. So Kanan did Blue Devils, Jen did Boston Crusaders, and now you're watching the Bluecoats. Let's talk a little bit about the Bluecoats. So this year, everybody kind of did a lot different uniform choices and color choices. So Santa Clara went to blue, Bluecoats went to red, Boston went to every color. So it's just kind of an interesting year. Everybody got the memo, like they do every year. When something happens, they just all seem to do it at the same time. Don't know how that happens, it just happens. But I think it was this year was kind of unique, because my prediction, I didn't think they were going to win. I wanted them to win. I thought they had the show to win, but I just didn't know if the judges and the crowds were ready for this type of a show. But they were. I was very pleasantly surprised that the judges embraced the show. Also Boston's show, which is also kind of a different, unique show, very visual. That show is just tons of visual color, and I'm sure you saw it in Jen's reaction. All the amazing color guard and things happening during that show, just visually, were just crazy good. And then Bluecoats, which is a completely different type of a show in terms of, it was more ethereal to me. So when I'm watching this show, and we'll talk about it when we watch it too, it just kind of puts you in this calm state. I don't know what it is about this show. And it, like I said, it reminded me of 93 Star of Indiana. Not the show design, not the music, but the way it made me feel. Because when I saw 93 Star of Indiana, I was in some high school. I can't remember the high school. I don't remember where the heck it was. It was probably a couple weeks before finals. Because usually we didn't get to see the East Coast Chorus until 2 weeks before finals. But I remember standing on the side, and there was like a fence. And I remember this vividly. There's the half-height fence what you have at football stadiums. And I saw Star of Indiana on the field, and I'm just standing there, and they're just like quiet as can be. And then they just play, this crazy good stuff, and I'm just like mesmerized, just mind blown. And then when I saw it at finals, I was even more mind blown, because it, 2 weeks it got a lot better. Same thing with Bluecoats. When I saw their show, a month before, I think it was the beginning of the season, I knew that show was going to be something special. But I think semifinals was better than finals. I saw a lot more drops happening in finals, and that generally happens. I don't even for us, when I marched, our semifinals was generally better than our finals, because I think once you get into the show, you get into the big show, you kind of relax down a little bit. And maybe that's what it was, but I thought semifinals was a little bit cleaner, a little bit tighter than finals. But finals was still amazing. Not saying it wasn't. But let's go ahead and watch it. I'm wearing the good headphones because I want to hear all the great sounds. So if you see a little bit of weirdness visually, I'm sorry about that. So here we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right in. It's so strange seeing the Bluecoats in red, but once again, I said everybody got the memo. They changed their colors this year, except for the Blue Devil. And Madison really didn't change their colors either. Show's so demanding.
Performing their 2024 program, Change is Everything. Drum Corps International is proud to present the Bluecoats.
effect is so cool. Look how clean those lines are. Just simple concepts in visual design. Contrary motion, movement, double time, half time. Once again, just great staging. Great staging. Colors, yellow, red, and white. So effective. Single hand with the snares. And and the quads. Okay, I didn't see that before. I just noticed they only have 4 bass drums. Did they have 5 before? Oh no, there's 5. Okay, how did I miss? Oh, the guy was already up there. Okay, I was tripping out. Super clean. Super clean. These little isolated stereo things, love it. Great articulation in the brass there, and that's the mellophones. And then the trumpets come in with the antiphonal part. Da 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 da. Such great soundscape in this show. Such a cool part here with the flags. Very cool effect. Jen had brought up, I think, on our last podcast that originally they didn't have all the synth going on. Like the flags were spinning and it was much more impressive. I think I would agree. There's just too much synth covering up that natural rawness of those flags spinning. Maybe if EV is even more subdued. And what's funny is every time I hear this, those little sound effects, it reminds me of Boston Crusaders White Whale last year. It just so reminds me of that. Such a cool part. Sorry, I had to sneeze twice. Their horn line is so good. Sounds so just full and rich and very, not steady, but like very even. Like you can't hear pop outs. You just hear a cohesive brass sound. Stages keep breaking down more and more and more. And the drum line's like all the way in the back, number 2 side corner, man. It's crazy. Hear these voices in the texture going in and out, and you hear the upper baritone. Love it. Nice color in the back with the guard, the blue. I think that's a blue. Very nice. Demands on the individuals is just so much greater than when I marched. I mean, look at the visual of the body work, the movement. Nice bass drums. Ooh, nice. Nice. Be interesting to see the spread again in percussion because I can't remember where they scored. Damn. It's so good. Just the quality of sound is just and all the leg movement they're doing as they're playing and body. That's freaking crazy, man. This part just rocks out, man. awesome. Wow. Just wow. Just the sonic feel that you get, the feeling you get when you're watching the show. It's like no time has gone by. It just keeps going and rolling. There's no real stop. There's no real start. It just goes. The transitional elements are just amazing in the show. Just so much oof. Bart is working it. So good. So amazing. So amazing. Okay. Hopefully I wasn't screaming too much during that show. I apologize. Okay. Well, tell me your guys' thoughts in the comments below, because even seeing that again, I haven't seen it in 2 weeks. It is so good. Just like, okay, let's start at the beginning. So that open, I have to think that it is recorded, the beginning part, that beginning section. I have to feel it's recorded. If it's not, then they're doing some live sort of filtering or something. But man, the music throughout the show is so controlled. It's so, like I said, it's kind of ethereal, and it's just kind of this wave of these waves that just keep happening, you know, audioly and visually to you. So you're just seeing this constant wave in the drill, and you're seeing this. And I apologize for not focusing on the guard, because Jen was going to focus on the guard, or she did focus on the guard, excuse me, in the Boston show. And I really wanted to focus on the musical and the visual part, because that's where my expertise is. So that's why I wasn't focusing so much on the guard in terms of what they were doing. But I mean, the way that the guard was staged with the yellow color, and it kind of just brought, like I said, it was bringing those three colors just perfectly together. And you always had staging going on that was not necessarily left and right, but it was more of filling out the field. So you always felt like you were watching the show this way. I wasn't like watching the show like this. I was watching the show like this. You know what I mean? So hopefully I've articulated myself well enough, but this was just an amazing show. There's so many cool moments. And like I said, it's like when you start the show to the end of the show, it doesn't seem like any time has gone by, because you're on this journey of the show and it just keeps moving. There's no real stopping and starting. There's kind of moments where it stops for a moment, but then it organically just kind of moves into the next thing. So you're constantly feeling like you're moving down a path. So, wow. Okay. What a great show. I did want to pull up the recaps. I know we looked at the recaps really in depth. Oops. Let's don't do that. We looked at the recaps really in depth last time. Let's pull up. I just kind of want to see percussion, because I know that Santa Clara won percussion, of course. I probably could have just pulled up the Core Clash app, but we're gonna pull this up here. Okay, let's view the full recap. Okay, so we're gonna look at the recaps here. So GE, I mean, look at a 20. Wow, 19.8, 19.8, 19.7, so 39.650. Deserved GE. Boston Crusaders, 4th, 2nd, 3rd. So these subcaptions, they got 3rd here. Blue Devils got that's GE. So it was just kind of across the board. You know, it was 1st, 2nd, 3rd. And then Phantom Regiment coming right behind with a 38.450. So very, very close. So 1.2 away in GE. And their show was magnificent as well. An amazing Phantom show. So, okay, so visual proficiency. 19.8, and then a perfect 20 in visual analysis. We have a thing about perfect scores. Yeah, I mean, I guess you can have perfect scores, but it's once again, I understand what they're doing. They're trying to rank everybody and put everybody in the right order in distance, right? So 20 to a 19.6, 19.5 to a 19.0. And then it jumps down into the 18s here. And what's so good about this year for all cores is there wasn't a huge, like, at semifinals, the gap was a lot closer in terms of everybody together. They kind of always spread them out in finals, which I don't agree with, because how are you going to get worse? What I think is really cool about this year is that everybody was, fairly close in a lot of captions. There was, like 1st through 9th was like a point away in some captions. But once we got to finals, though, everything kind of spread back out again, which I don't agree with. I think if they're that tight in semis, they should be that tight in finals. But they seem to want to spread the scores out vertically, so they want to push, the top cores up, and then the bottom cores, they move them down a little bit. So I just don't get that. To me, it doesn't make any sense. If you're better, you're better. If you scored, you scored. Okay, so brass, they got 1st, and that's Bluecoats. Boston got 4th in brass. That's interesting. Carolina Crown got 2nd, and then 3rd Blue Devils, and then 4th, and then 5th. Interesting. Music analysis, though, it was Bluecoats, Boston, Blue Devils, then Crown, then Phantom. Phantom Regiment, sorry. And then music analysis, 19.8, 1, 2 down to Carolina Crown, of course, and then 3, 4, 5. And this was, let me see here. Okay, so percussion, they got a 9.9 in content, but achievement, they got a 9.5. So that's half of a point lower in achievement. So that gave them the 2nd place, which is a 19.45, and Santa Clara got a 19.5. So barely squeaking out, but then it was the 3 nights, of course, average. So on finals, only 0.05, so not a huge gap. And then Boston Crusaders, who had been winning percussion, like handily beating everyone in percussion for a long time, when they got into semifinals. So when they got into finals, it kind of was just strange, or finals week, how it's strange how, like, all of a sudden they're not as good. I don't know. It's just kind of weird to me how that works. But you can see that, I mean, Bluecoats won pretty much every caption except for percussion. Overall, they did take music with a 29.450. So I thought Bluecoats were amazing. They had such an amazing show, like I said. A lot of people were comparing it to 93 Star, and what's funny is I actually said that before anybody said that. If you guys go back and watch one of the podcasts, I said, when you see this show, it's like 93 Star. And I think I even posted something about that. But anyway, I'm tooting my own horn, patting my own back. But anyway, the and I think the reason why people are comparing it to 93 Star is because of the feeling that you get when you're watching the show is similar to Star. So when you're watching Star 93, you're just like kind of in this zone, and it's just all these things happening, and these ethereal things, and these ups and downs. And same thing with Bluecoats, kind of that same kind of wave motion feeling that you get when you're watching the show, and before you know it, the show's over, and you're just like, wow, I just experienced something so damn cool. I don't know how I want to feel about it other than great, you know? And I think that's where this really comes into play, this type of show design, and that's where I'm hoping that the activity is going to embrace it and go with it and change. And I'm not saying everybody needs to copy the Bluecoats, but I mean, if you look at Phantom, what they did, they stepped up. They're still Phantom, but they're doing something different. They're doing something more cerebral. You know what I mean? Where you have to kind of think about what they're doing and why they're doing what they're doing. So I hope it's a change. I hope it's a turning point for the activity. I think it needed it. I think it needed the change. I think it needs to kind of keep changing and progressing, because that's what drum corps does. It's supposed to evolve and change. And I think for a couple of years, we kind of just got stagnant in terms of where everybody was. And I think this year was a great change. I was very pleased when I started seeing everyone's shows. So I'm very happy with the way it turned out. So please tell me what you guys thought. Like I said, please make sure you subscribe. We would really appreciate it. Like I said, we did reach 2,300 subscribers, but we want to get to 3,000, 4,000, 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, a million. That'd be fantastic. You guys can make that happen. Over 60% people that watch our videos don't ever subscribe. It doesn't take effort other than clicking the button. I make sure that I do that. If I like someone's videos, on 2 or 3 videos, I'm like, oh, these are pretty good, I'm going to subscribe to their channel. Not only so I can get notified if I want to watch their content, but it helps them out. It really does help us out in YouTube. It helps the algorithm, helps us actually get out to more people. So please do that. We would appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, we truly appreciate it. And we want to make sure that you guys know that you always have to march on. We'll see you on the next one.